today we'll be doing 3.6 notes. We'll review a little bit of what we learned yesterday about alternate exterior and interior angles, same side interior and corresponding angles. We'll be using math today where we're solving for a variable, okay? So we'll do that on the inside of the foldable. The first thing I want to do with this foldable is just kind of talk about what we talked about yesterday, some reminders. I'll start with alternate exterior angles, okay? So remember that alternate means opposite. So at the top, I'm just going to write op for opposite. And that exterior means it's on the outside. Okay, go ahead and write those things down so you can have reminders there. What I'm going to do is look at my example. So we have our two lines that's crossing this transversal. So let me get my highlighter here. I'm going to highlight in red my transversal right there. So I'm going to say here, transversal. Okay, so why did I put opposite and outside for alternate and exterior? That kind of tells us what should be happening with these pair of angles, that they're opposite in the transversal, but they're outside of the parallel lines or the two lines that you have. So for this figure here, the inside is interior. That's what we mean when we say interior. And the outside is the exterior, right? So all of this chunk of angles are exterior. So I'm just labeling to remind you, right? So if I ask for a pair of alternate exterior angles, well, it's either 1, 2, 7, and 8. That's your options because that's what's exterior of the two lines, okay? So because it says alternate, I know that if one of the angles is 1, the other pair that's alternate exterior is 8. They're opposite sides of the transversal and outside exterior of those two lines. Okay, so just some reminders of what alternate exterior angles are, right? Something that's important that I'm going to mention, because we'll be using it inside of the flap, is that alternate exterior angles are congruent. So right here on the bottom, I'm going to write they're congruent angles. Okay? Congruent meaning they are equal, same measure. Right? So angle 1 and angle 8 are congruent. So I'm going to write angle 1 is congruent to angle 8. So if we say angle 1 is 40 degrees, that also means that angle 8 is 40 degrees because both of them are alternate exterior angles. And they're congruent. They're equal to each other. Okay? So just keep that in mind. Let's keep going. I'm going to do next alternate interior, inside of those lines now. So remember, alternate means opposite. Interior means inside of those two lines. So if we look at our figure, inside of the parallel lines or the inside of these two lines are the angles 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, but we need opposite angles for this transversal. So what if one of my angles is 3? Then the one that's opposite on the other side of the transversal is 6. Okay, so they have to be inside but opposite of the transversal. Okay, so 3 and 6 are my alternate interior angles. Another pair of alternate exterior angles are 4 and 5. Okay, so alternate interior angles, something that's special about them also is that they're congruent angles. So if you have alternate interior angles, they are equal to each other. So that means angle 3 is congruent to angle 6. and that angle 4 is congruent to angle 5. Okay, so both alternate interior and exterior angles are congruent. All right, let's do corresponding next. Corresponding angles, it means that we have angles in the same position in their group of 4. So I'm just going to write a reminder here that they are in the same position in their group of 4. Okay, so just a reminder there. They're in the same position in their group of 4. If we look at what angles are what for corresponding angles, well, if I am looking for the other pair that's corresponding to number 1, well, in their group of 4, it's in the top to the left. So angle 5 is the corresponding angle to number 1. All right, so I can say that angle 1 and angle 5 are corresponding angles. Something that's very important about corresponding angles is that you know that they are also congruent angles. So I'm going to write here, they are congruent angles. Make sure you're writing this down, which means, remember, equal. So if angle 1 is congruent to angle 5, let's say that angle 1 is a measure of, 60 degrees, that angle 5 should also be 60 degrees. They should be matching in angle measure. Okay, so another that are corresponding, 2 and 6. Okay, so angle 2 is congruent to angle 6. 3 and 7 are also congruent. So I'm writing that pair down. And then my last one that are corresponding and are also congruent are 4 and 8. So angle 4 is equal or congruent to angle 8. It should all be the same measure for each pair. Okay, the only one that's a little bit different that will not be equal to each other is same side interior angles. Okay, so same side interior angles, if you're dealing with same side interior angles, you're dealing with angles that are inside of the parallel lines. Okay, so 3, 4, 5, and 6, these are your options for same side interior. Because it's the same side, that means they're on the same side of the transversal. So remember, your transversal is right here. This is your transversal. They must be on the same side, both of those angles. So if 3 is one of my same side interior angles, the other pair should be 5. And 4, let me get another color, green. 4 and 6 are my other pair. But there's something special. They will not be congruent. What is happening here is that they are supplementary. So I'm going to say they are supplementary angles. What does supplementary mean? Remember that if you have two angles that are supplementary, that means they are equal to 180 degrees. Okay, so it means that, let's say I have angle 3 and angle 5 as same side. Well, angle 3 plus angle 5 should give you a measure of 180 degrees. That's what it's saying. Okay, and that angle 4 plus angle 6, since they are same side, they should be 180 degrees. Okay, so the only one that are not congruent is a same side interior angles. The rest should be congruent. Okay, to keep that in mind. All right. Lo único que voy a decir que es importante en español es que el único que es diferente, el único par de ángulos que es diferente es el same side interior angles. Los ángulos que están en el mismo lado de la transversal, pero adentro de esas líneas paralelas. So, yo tengo solamente dos pares de ángulos, 3 y 5 en este caso, y 4 y 6 que son same side interior angles. Lo que es diferente de este es que no son congruentes, no son iguales, no tienen la misma medida. Por ejemplo, 3 y 5 son suplementarios, tienen una agregación de 180 grados. So, si yo agrego 3 y 5, si yo agrego a esos ángulos, lo que sea su medida, me deben de dar 180 grados. Igual para 4 y 6. Ángulo 4 y 6, si los agrego, me deben de dar una medida de 180 grados. Si te fijas, todos los demás pares que hablamos, corresponding, alternate, todos esos, les dije que los ángulos son la misma medida, son congruentes. Okay, let's do some examples on the inside. Example 1 is where I'm going to start. Now, before I get started with example 1, I'm going to tell you right off the bat, I am going to skip 7 and I'm going to skip 8. I do not have enough time to do those. Okay, I don't want to make this too draggy. As long as I do an example of each, I think I should be fine. Okay, so let's start with example 1. It says find each angle measure. Okay, so your job is to find what the angle is for the variable that's missing. The variable that we're looking for is W. Okay, so we want to know what this angle is. That's the question. Okay, so first thing I will tell you that you need to do, if you're dealing with transversals and parallel lines, you need to ask yourself, okay, the first thing, what type of angles are they? And your second step will be to solve. Okay, so first, what type of angles are they? Well, let's do some work over here. So what are the angles? I see that one of them is inside of the parallel lines and the other one is outside of those parallel lines. Okay, so they cannot be any of the pair that has interior in them. So it's not same side interior because one of them is in the outside. It is not alternate interior angles. Okay, so my only other options are maybe it's corresponding or that they are alternate exterior angles. Okay, and I can already eliminate alternate exterior angles because W, that angle that we're looking for, is inside of those lines. Okay, so that narrows it down. This must be corresponding. So I have corresponding angles. And I see it in their group of 4. So at this top right here in the group of 4, W is in the bottom to the right, and so is 38. In their group of 4 right here, 38 is in the bottom and to the right. Okay, so they're corresponding. The second thing is to solve, okay? I want to solve for the variable. And because I know they're corresponding, remember, that means they are equal, right? They're congruent. So if one of my angles is 38, I know the other one that's corresponding is also 38. So my conclusion is that W equals 38 degrees. This one wasn't too hard. We didn't really have to set up an equation. It was just kind of common sense. If I know what one of the angles is and they are the pair that are congruent or equal, then the other angle has to be the same, has to be equal. Ok, ejemplo 1, yo primero me pregunté qué tipo de ángulos son. Siempre háganse esa pregunta primero. ¿Qué tipo de ángulos son? Solamente hay 4 opciones, las que hemos estado hablando hoy y ayer, ¿ok? Y la segunda pregunta, la segunda parte, el segundo paso es resolver, ¿ok? So, yo me pregunté qué tipo de ángulo es ejemplo 1. Yo vi que W y el ángulo 38, que son los únicos que hay aquí algo escrito, so, tienen que estar hablando de esos ángulos para ver ese par. W y 38, primero lo que yo noté es que hay uno adentro de las líneas paralelas y hay el otro ángulo que es 38 está afuera de esas líneas, ¿ok? So, yo luego deduje que no puede ser uno de los respuestas que tienen interior, porque eso quiere decir que los dos están adentro, ¿ok? So no es alternate interior angles y no es same side interior angles, ¿ok? Porque 38 está afuera. Interior quiere decir adentro, ¿ok? So eso yo por eso pude excluir esas respuestas, ¿ok? Las últimas dos opciones que me quedan es si es correspondiente, corresponding angles, o si es alternate exterior angles, ¿ok? Pero alternate exterior angles quiere decir que los dos ángulos están afuera de esas líneas paralelas, pero W está adentro, ¿ok? So ahí ese es el problema. No coincide. So, alternate exterior angles también lo puedo tachar. No es. El único que quedó es ángulos correspondientes. Y si vemos en su grupo de 4, ¿ok? Donde estamos con W, W está abajo y a la derecha de esa línea transversal. Y el 38 está igual. Están en la misma posición, ¿ok? Que su grupo de 4. So, por eso son correspondientes. Yo tengo que resolver, mi pregunta es, ¿qué es la medida de W? Pero acuérdense que ángulos correspondientes son ángulos congruentes, que son iguales, tienen la misma medida. So, si yo sé uno de los ángulos, yo puedo deducir que el otro también tiene la misma medida. Me dieron uno de los ángulos, me dieron 38, ¿verdad? 38 grados. Entonces W, como es congruente, son iguales, tienen la misma medida, también es 38. W es igual a 38, fue lo que escribí. Y aquí volví a poner mi respuesta. ¿Ok? Aquí no hice mucho de resolver por X. Hice varias preguntas. ¿Cuáles par de ángulos queda mejor? Y resolver, ¿ok? Si tú ya sabes uno de los ángulos, uno de los pares de ángulos, puedes saber el otro, ¿ok? Porque es correspondiente. Okay, let's do example 2 next. No, let's do example 3 next, right here. Same question, find each angle measure. So you're going to ask yourself, what type of angles are they? Well, first thing that I notice is that they are inside of these parallel lines, okay? So they're inside of the lines. So it could be either same side interior or it could be alternate interior since both of them are inside. Those are my options. But I do notice that one is on one side of the transversal and the other one is on the other side of the transversal. Okay, so because they are on opposite sides, this is alternate interior angles. Okay, so first decide which angles they are. Number 2, solve. Okay, I am trying to solve for X, right? That's what I'm looking for right there for X. Now, I do know one of them is 108. Okay, and so the other pair is what I don't know. But remember that alternate interior angles are congruent angles. They are the same, right? They're equal. Okay, so if I know that one of them is 108, then that means X equals 108. Again, I'm using common sense here. Not doing any kind of work yet. If I know one of them, then I know the other one. Because it's one of the angles that are congruent. All right, let's do the next one. Example 2, right here. So I'm going to ask myself the same question. What type of angles are they? Okay, so first thing I notice is one is in the inside of the parallel line. Okay, so this angle right here is 9x minus 16. Okay, so now you're going to see them not just being numbers, but we can express these angles in expressions, okay? So we have 9x minus 16 that is representing that angle right there. It even has that arrow pointing to it. And then the other thing that they put here is 7x. Okay, so we're dealing with these two angles right there. I know one of them is inside and another one is outside. Okay, so my options can get narrowed down. Okay, I'm gonna check if they are corresponding since I have one inside and one outside. That's a big indicator that they could be corresponding. If I look in their position, both of them are on the bottom to the left of their pair of 4. So I'm going to say that these are corresponding. Aquí son correspondientes los ángulos. Están en la misma posición. Ok, so vamos a empezar a ver, ahorita que cambia un poquito, que ahora los ángulos no van a representar solamente números, pero también expresiones. So, en este caso, uno de los pares de ángulos que son correspondientes es 9x menos 16 y el otro ángulo es 7x. Yo lo que quiero que se acuerden es que ángulos correspondientes, les dije que son ángulos congruentes, que tienen la misma medida, ¿verdad? Son iguales, equal. So remember that corresponding angles are congruent angles, okay? So just keep that in mind. They're equal. Because they're equal, and I can't just make common sense, they didn't give me one of the angles to say, oh, then I know the other one. They gave me expressions. I need to solve. I need to do more work here. But I do know they're equal. So I'm going to grab each expression, 9x minus 16, and I'm going to put it equal to the other expression, 7x. We're going to put them equal to each other. Okay, so I'm going to solve. So 9x minus 16 equals 7x. So I am going to try to keep my my numbers on one side and my x's on another, okay? The easiest thing for me is to move 7x over, okay? So I don't get a negative x. I don't want to deal with a negative x. So watch what happens. It's okay. So because I have a positive 7 on the right side, I'm going to subtract. So that means that goes away, right? 9 minus 7 gives me 2x. So let's bring everything down. I still have that negative 16 equals, well, the right side of my equation went away. So I'm just going to write 0. There shouldn't be anything there, right? Okay, but remember, I'm trying to solve for the variable. So one side has to have my x's and the other one needs to have the numbers. So right now, what's in the way is that negative 16. That shouldn't be there. So how do I get rid of it? Do the opposite, add 16. Okay, so what's left is 2x on the left side. So let's bring it down. 0 plus 16 is just 16. Okay, so you see how it fixed itself? All right, so then let's divide by 2. That should be your last step, right? At this point, I hope that you can at least solve for x a little bit easier. I shouldn't be having to walk you through every step of how to solve for x, but I am showing you most of the steps, okay? I hope that you could solve for x shouldn't be the hard part. What's hard is thinking and determining what type of angles you're dealing with, okay? And that tells you how to set up the equation. Solving for x shouldn't be the hard part, I hope, okay? And if it is, you need to come into tutoring. All right, so we solve for x. X equals 8. But that's not what I'm asking, right? Find the measure of each angle. But I needed to solve for x to know what each angle is. So they're asking for the measure of angle DEH. So let's look for DEH. Let me get my highlighter ready. So this is D, this is E, and this is H. So they're asking for this angle right now. The one that has 9x minus 16. So now that I know x, I can make a replacement. 9 times 8, because x is 8, so take out x, put in the number that you found, minus 16. I'm going to put this in my calculator, 9 times 8, and then subtract 16. So let's do that in our calculator. Okay, exactly how I see it in my paper, I'm going to do it. So 9 times 8 minus 16. So I get 56. Let's see if I can move this out of the way, because sometimes I can't. Oh. I just want to move this out of the way. That's all I'm trying to do. Sometimes it gets tricky and oh, there we go. Now I can move it out of the way. Okay, so it said, now I need to move it back in. What is it? 56? Oops. So it's 56 degrees. So I have one answer so far. Let's get the other answer. So in my other expression, in my other angle is what I'm looking for. CDG. CDG. So it's this angle right here. 7x. So I'm going to do 7 times 8. Remember, take out x, plug in your variable that you were looking for. 7 times 8 is going to give you your answer. Of course, if you don't know what 7 times 8 is, you can put it in your calculator, but it should be exactly the same angle that you just got, which is 56. Okay. All right, let's do example 4. Find each angle measure. Let's ask ourselves the same question that we've been asking each other. What is the pair of angles that we're dealing with? First thing that I do notice is that they're inside of the parallel lines. So it has to be one of the interior angles one. I do see that one of them is on one side of the transversal and the other one is in the opposite. So this should be alternate interior angles. I'm just going to put the symbol for angles there. All right, and then we're going to solve. So because they're alternate interior angles, remember they are congruent angles. Okay, so they're equal to each other. So I'm going to take each expression, each angle, and I'm going to put them equal to each other to set this up. So 12x plus 8 equals 14x minus 4. Now, I could have started the other way. I could have grabbed 14x minus 4 and said it equals to 12x plus 8. It doesn't really matter the order because they should be equal to each other, right? So now it's just solving and then finding those missing angles. I know that because I have multiple terms here that I'm dealing with, the easiest thing that I always tell my kids to do is just move the smallest amount of x's first, and then it kind of works itself out. Okay, so between 12x and 14x, the smallest amount is 12. So that's the one that I'm going to move. It's a positive 12x. So I'm going to do the opposite, which is subtract 12x. And I have to do it on the other side as well. I'm going to break down that 8. Right, because 12x went away. And then so 14 minus 12, use your calculator if you don't know, but it should be positive 2x. I'll bring down that negative 4. We haven't used it, so we bring it down. Okay, first, remember, you're solving for x. That's the goal. X should be on one side all by itself. That's the goal. And have numbers on the other side. So right now it says 8 equals 2x minus 4. 2x should be alone so that we can finish this off and divide at the end. But what is there that shouldn't be there is that negative 4. It shouldn't be right next to it. It should be on the other side. The numbers should be on one side itself. So I'm going to move what's not supposed to be there, which is that negative 4. I'll do the opposite. I'll add 4. And I do the same on the other side. Add 4. So 8 plus 4 is 12. 12 equals 2x. I bring down what I haven't used. Now I'm running out of room, so I'm just going to keep going here on the side. So it's 12 equals 2x. So I'm just going to keep going here since I ran out of room. My very last step, I don't want 2x. I want just x. So whatever's in the front of your x, you're using that to divide. So I'll divide by that number, which is 2, and it goes away. And I have to do the same thing on the other side. So what's left alone is x equals 12 divide 2. Put it in your calculator, but it should be 6. So x is equal to 6. Now we're looking for the measure of angle FCD. So I have F here, C here, D here. So I'm looking for 12x plus 8 first. So let's replace x with 6 and then add that 8. Okay, so do this with your calculator, please. I have my calculator right here on the side, if I can browse. Can I not? What's happening? Okay, you know what? I'm going to just pull it back in because I cannot see anything. It was all pitch black. So, it's 12 times 6. What was the other thing? Plus 8. Okay. There we go. Enter. 80. Okay, so this equals to 80 degrees. So this is 80 degrees. I found one of them. Now, EFC is the other angle, EF, and then C. So it's this one right here that they're talking about. If you replace 6 with, if you replace X with 6, you do 14 times 6 minus 4. You put that in your calculator. You still should get 80 degrees, okay? Remember, they are alternate interior angles. They are congruent. So if you find one of them, you know the other one. Okay, if you want to think about it that way. As long as you find one of them, then you can make that conclusion that the other one is equal because they are one of the pairs that are congruent to each other. So just be very careful. Ok, en ejemplo 4, este par de ángulos son ángulos alternate interior angles. Estos son ángulos que son congruentes, que tienen la misma medida, que son igual, equal. So yo hice mi ecuación. Lo que hice es agregar cada expresión y ponerlas igual. So 12x más 8 es igual a 14x menos 4. También lo pude haber puesto del otro lado. Como 14x menos 4 es igual a 12x más 8. Los pude haber volteado, pero no lo hice. Es como empecé, ¿ok? No importa porque son ángulos congruentes. So, aquí la meta es resolver por x. A este punto yo espero que lo difícil no sea resolver por x, ¿ok? Si ustedes están batallando para resolver por x, tienen que ir a tutoría, ¿ok? Porque esto es, lo van a seguir viendo, van a seguir resolviendo por x todo el año, ¿ok? Lo difícil es decidir qué tipo de ángulos es y cómo poner esa ecuación, cómo empezar esa ecuación. Lo difícil no es resolver por x, espero, ¿ok? Pero ya resolví, yo hice mis pasos para resolver por x, porque acuérdense que la meta es que x esté solo en un lado y tienes que mover todo lo demás, ¿verdad? Para llegar a esa meta, ¿ok? Fue lo que hice. Yo, cuando tengo aquí múltiples términos, como lo tengo como este ejemplo, pude haber movido 8 o 4 primero si hubiera querido, como yo quisiera, pero yo siempre le digo a mis niños, muevan el x más pequeño, ¿ok? Entre 12x y 14x, el más pequeño es 12x. Por eso moví ese primero, ¿ok? Porque es lo que yo les digo a mis niños y siempre me van a ver hacer eso. Si yo tengo múltiples términos, siempre me van a ver que yo muevo el x más pequeño primero. Ese es mi primer paso, ¿ok? Yo moví 12x, hice lo opuesto, resté. Cuando hice mi resta, 8 se quedó solo en el lado izquierdo. 8 es igual a 14 menos 12, que me dio 2x. Y bajé negativo 4 cuando hice esta parte. Ok, y cuando ya andaba aquí, yo, acuérdense, la meta es x que esté solo. Por eso moví ese negativo 4. Hice lo opuesto, agregué 4. Y también lo hice del otro lado. Y puse mi resultado bajito. 12 es igual a 2x. Y mi último paso es dividir. ¿Ok? Dividí por 2. Para que x estuviera solito, como lo quiero. X es igual a 6. Fue lo que me dio. Busco no solo qué es x, pero qué son las medidas de estos ángulos de verdad. Entonces, yo lo que tuve que hacer es, en mis expresiones que me daba mi ejemplo, 12x más 8 y 14x menos 4, yo reemplazo x por su valor, que es 6. Ok, 12 por 6 más 8, lo puse en la calculadora, me dio 80. Ok, hice lo mismo para el otro ángulo, reemplacé x con 6 y agarré 80. Son ángulos congruentes, los dos son iguales. Deberían de ser iguales. Okay, so that's example 4. Let's do example 5 next. Okay, so it says find each angle measure. So remember, let's look at what type of angles they are. So one is in the outside and the other one is also on the outside. They're in the outside, in the exterior. The only one that talks about exterior is alternate exterior angles. Okay, and my second step should be to solve, right? So if they're alternate exterior angles, remember, they are congruent. They are equal to each other. I know one of the angles is 131. The other one is y. I can say that y equals the same thing, 131 degrees. So this one was more of a common sense of what am I looking at. I know that one of the angles was given, one of the pair of angles, so then I know the other one. Okay, so that's example 5. Let's look at example 6. It says find each angle measure. So for angle 6, it says that Z is one of the angles, and then the other one is 38. That's the given angles. Let's do the first step. Find what type of pair of angles they are. They are in the inside of this part of your a parallel line. So they're in the inside. It's one of the interior ones. They are on the same side of the transversal. They're both to the right of the transversal. So I can say this is same side, interior angles. Okay, but remember, this is a special one. This is the one that's not the same as the other ones. This one means that both of these angles, if you add them together, they equal 180 degrees, right? Where they're equal to 180. So if you know one of them, then you can subtract to get the other one, right? Because they should both of them should be equal to 180. So second step, solve. I know that angle Z plus angle 38, they should equal 180 degrees. I know that much, right? Both of them, if I add them, they should equal 180. So that's how I set up my equation. Grab each one, add them together, and then put them equal to 180 if they are same side. Let's solve. Well, I want Z by itself. So what's in the way is that positive 38. So I'm going to move it to the other side because it's not supposed to be there. So I move it. I subtract 38 here as well. Z equals whatever 180 minus 38 is going to be. And that is going to be 142 degrees. So Z is 142 degrees. So this is 142 degrees. There you go. Remember, we're skipping 7 and 8. So you have enough time to start your homework and get started. Good luck.